In this video, we're going to take a look at free response question number 5 from the AP exam from 2023. This problem involves the idea of functional analysis, which means we'll be applying different theorems and different rules that you've learned for derivatives and integrals. So let's go ahead and take a look at the question, and we'll take a look at what's applied and hopefully how you'll be able to apply these ideas on other questions. First thing to notice, they're identified two functions, f and g, that are twice differentiable. Now, when they say twice differentiable, we like that. I think of that as a disclaimer. It tells us that we can apply all the different theorems and rules that you've learned. And they have a chart up here. We're going to be able to track f of x, f prime, g, and g prime. Usually this means we're going to look at increasing, decreasing. We can find mins and maxes. We can look at the idea of concavity. Let's see what they're asking us here. Part A, they're defining a new function, so they're using a composite function. That tells us we're going to need the chain rule. Because it's asking for the first derivative at a point. Pretty straightforward. Second question defines a new function using a first derivative and defining it using the functions of f of x and g of x. So it talks about concavity. So we're thinking second derivative, but since they gave us the first derivative, we'll only be taking the first derivative of the first derivative. Part C, we define a new function using a function and an integral. And we're simply finding a value, so we're going to be able to substitute in and apply some rules. Part D, we're going to have to think a little bit about because it refers back to that part C, and we're looking to determine whether it's increasing or decreasing. So again, we're going to apply some more theorems there. So let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at the first question. So part A, it says we're defining h of x by f of g of x, and we're finding h prime of 7. So we need a first derivative. So let's go ahead and take a look at h of x and see what we have. So we have f of g of x. Now, most of you, when you learn the chain rule, you probably saw the rule written this way in terms of finding the derivative, that you have an inner function here, and this is your outer function encompassing it all. So we're going to apply that chain rule and say that our first derivative is the derivative of the outer function, that's that f, so it's just f prime of the whatever, which is g of x. And we're going to multiply that, I like to do this, times our inner function, which is g prime of x, its derivative. So we're doing this at 7, so we're going to plug in 7. So we're going to have f prime of g of 7 times g prime of 7. So now we're just going to go ahead and use that chart very carefully. So we'll start inside parentheses here, g of 7. We go over 7 down to g, and we have 0. So we have f prime of 0 times g prime of 7. We go of 7 down, there's g prime, it's 8. So we do need to find f prime of 0 now. So we go over 0. And f prime is here at 3/2. So we're going to have 3/2 times 8. And on the AP exam, you do not have to simplify anything that could be entered in a scientific calculator, but we'll go ahead and do that. 3 times 8 divided by 2. So we end up with 24 over 2, also known as 12. So we now know that h prime of 7 is equal to 12. Now, some other questions they may ask you, they may say at 7, is it increasing or decreasing? So we have to know if h prime is positive, it's increasing. If it's negative, it's decreasing. If something's a min or a max, we would need to know whether that first derivative is 0 or undefined, and then we'd have to look at the second derivative. All right, on to question B. So here we're defining k prime. So they're giving us the first derivative, and that is something to be very aware of. What are they actually giving you? It is defined as f of x squared times g of x. And we are looking at concavity, up or down. So we're looking at the slope of the slope. So it's the first derivative of the first derivative, or as you know, the second derivative. Then we're going to plug in the value of 4, and we can determine that. Now, in this case, hopefully you notice you have a first function and a second function. When we're finding our derivative there, we're applying the product rule. So we have the derivative of the first times the second, plus the derivative of the second times the first. I find doing those lines can be helpful for some. So let's go ahead and take that first derivative of our first derivative. So notice it's f of x squared, so we have some function squared, so we have the chain rule in action here. So we're going to have 2 times f of x, and that would be to the first power, but it's times that inner derivative. So we have to multiply by that inner part, so times f prime of x. That's where you're going to have to be careful. So that's the derivative of our first. And then we just multiply by g of x, that's our second, plus the derivative of our second, which is g prime of x, times that first function again, which was f of x squared. And again, made sure we got it all. And we're interested in the value at 4 so we can determine the concavity. So when we substitute in 4, we have k double prime of 4 equaling 2 times f of 4 times f prime of 4 times g of 4 plus g prime of 4 times f of 4 squared. I do think it's important you write this all down so to make sure when you go to your chart, you're interpreting everything correctly. So looking at the chart, so we have 2 times f of 4, so we have 4, times f prime of 4, 3, g of 4 times negative 3, plus g prime of 4, 2, times f of 4, which is 4, squared. Now, we don't need the actual value because we're determining concavity. We just need to know if this is positive or negative, but this is simple enough where we can go ahead and find those values. We'd have 8 times 3 is 24. We'd end up with negative 72 plus 4 squared times 2. So we'd have 16 times 2. We'd have 32. So we have a value of negative 40. So we now know that the second derivative at 4 is negative 40. And that is less than 0. So since we have a negative value less than 0, that implies that we are concave down at x equals 4. All right, on to part C. Our function here is defined by an integral, not so bad, and we're just looking for the value at 2. It looks a little complicated, but let's just go ahead and substitute it and see what happens. So m of 2, we just substitute 5 times 2 to the third plus the integral of 0 to 2 of f prime of t dt. So the first part's real easy. 2 to the third is 8 times 5 is 40. Plus, now this is where we have to think. We're applying the fundamental theorem of calculus, and you should have learned that as the integral from a to b of f prime of x or t, it doesn't matter. In this case, we'd say dt is equal to f of b minus f of a. So in our problem in question, we would have f of 2, right? So we have f of x. And we could write it down this way just so you see it. When you integrate f prime, it's f of x, and we're evaluating it from 0 to 2. So we would have 40 plus f of 2 minus f of 0. So we would have 40, and f of 2 is 7. F of 0 is 10. So we end up with 47 minus 10, which is 37. And again, they're not asking us to interpret anything. They're just asking us to find it. So we are done. So m of 2 equals 37. And we would not be able to enter the answer in this row because that can't be entered in a scientific calculator, but you could have left it as 40 plus 7 minus 10, or even 5 times 2 to the third instead of writing down the 40. Sometimes in the heat of the moment during an exam, you can make a small mistake. Part D, they're referring back to that function m, so let's go ahead and write that down. So we had 5x cubed plus the integral from 0 to x of f prime of t dt. And they want to know if it's increasing, decreasing, or neither at x equals 2. So to do this, you should know you need the first derivative. So we're going to have to go ahead and calculate our first derivative, but there's something a little bit off here for a lot of people. So let's go ahead and take a look at something special. One way to write the fundamental theorem of calculus is if you take the derivative of a to x of f of t dt, it's simply equal to f of x. So what I want you to see here is that we have the derivative and we have the antiderivative here, the integral. So they undo each other. It just leaves you with whatever that value is in here, all right, with x substituting in. Now, if this was a function up here, we'd need to apply the chain rule, but in this case, we don't. So now here, notice what we have. We don't have f of x, we have f prime. But that value is just going to come out when we take that derivative. So let's go ahead and take a look. You're going to have m prime of x is equal to, our derivative here is 15x squared plus the derivative of the integral is just whatever was inside. And what was inside was f prime of t But in our case, we substitute that x in, so it's going to be f prime of x. And that's all there is to that. So now we just have to evaluate it at 2. So we have m prime of 2 is equal to 15 times 2 squared plus f prime of 2. So we have squared times 15, we have 60. F prime of 2, go over to 2, minus 8, so plus negative 8. We are left with 52. And again, they want to know if it's increasing or decreasing. So since our derivative is greater than 0, it's a positive value, that implies that m of x is increasing at x equals 2. So again, be careful with your rules. Take your time, write all the steps out, circle what you need, be careful, and you'll be well. So hope that video helped.